Hello my friends, Buck Weezer, Buck Small Engine, DIY on YouTube, and no snazzy introduction and no theme song today. And I think it's simply because I'm in the middle of a project and I wasn't originally planning to film it. But now that I'm halfway through, I thought I'd turn the camera on because there might be some things that interest you or be of help to you. So what am I doing? I'm replacing the drive belt and idler pulleys on this Husqvarna all-wheel drive lawnmower. This one is the HU800 and the drive system doesn't work, so I want to put on a new belt and some new idler pulleys. And I've just encountered some things as I've been working on this that I thought maybe it's worthwhile giving you some ideas. So it's not a complete step-by-step how-to, but there's some things that I would recommend that I've discovered as I've walked along, and I wanted to talk to you about it. First of all, here's my lawnmower prop setup. I clamp a block of wood to the table and then use another piece of wood to hold up the mower. You gotta work with what you got, I guess, sometimes. And then I'll get down here on my knees, I'll kneel on that pad and I'll have access to everything that I need to do underneath. And basically with this job, you have a lot of plastic parts that you need to take off and get them out of the way. Baffles, look at all this stuff. Trim pieces, front baffles, lower baffles, and top cover pieces. So that's not really that hard. You just gotta start collecting the nuts and bolts as you go along the way, and it comes off pretty easy. But interesting thing happened when I was taking off the blade. Okay, so I'm going to replace the blade. I got a new blade there, 22-inch blade. And you'll notice in the center of the blade it has the 5, it's a star pattern I guess, with the 5 little nubbies. And so I was taking the blade off, kind of my first step. And you know, you've got your blade adapter here, and when I took it off, I realized that the 5 little points of the star, those 5 little nubbies, seem to have stripped off. They broke out. So this is, they're not there anymore. Now I don't know if they came off while I was taking the blade off. I tried at first to get to break the bolt loose with this little impact, but it didn't have enough beef, so I used a breaker bar and a block of wood to hold it all stationary. I don't know if maybe I should have pulled out my bigger impact and tried that, but for whatever reason these little nubbies broke off, necessitating buying a new blade adapter. Fortunately it's available and it wasn't that expensive. I don't remember how much. Well, you might need a blade adapter when you do this job also. So I don't know if I just had bad luck or bad methodology. Maybe they had already broken off, because you see, you don't see bare metal here as you might expect. Maybe in the past the mower had hit a stump or a rock or something and they were already broken off in there. I don't know, but it necessitates a new blade adapter. So also, right up there with the blade adapter are the 3 idler pulleys that mount right here. And on this particular model, they're identical. They're 3 identical pulleys. Not all of the Husqvarna all-wheel drives do that. Some of them have 2 of one kind and 1 of another. But these 3 are identical. And I decided to replace them because they're not in good shape. They still kind of work. This one's missing the cover, the seal that goes on top. You can see the ball bearings in there. Anyway, I bought 3 of these, and I'll give you the part number and a link in the description if you need to get them. Always be sure to double check and look up your make and model, make sure you get the right thing. But the question I'm always asking is, should I buy aftermarket or a genuine Husqvarna brand? But when I think about that question, I ask myself, does Husqvarna make their own replacement parts? Or is there any real difference between OEM Husqvarna? Maybe Husqvarna just gets parts manufactured in China, just like these aftermarket parts are. I don't know. I don't always know. I know some companies have their own OEM parts they make here in the United States, but I don't think a lot of manufacturers do. So I asked myself, is there really a difference buying it from Husqvarna or buying it on Amazon, saving money? Well, I'm saving money, and I got these three. It was about 20 bucks, 21 bucks. Next day delivery. Now here's the belt. That's genuine Husqvarna, but is it a high quality product made in the United States, or is it a made in China? I don't really know. I don't really know. So anyway, that's what we're up to. And basically, when you take off all those baffles, you get under here like this, and you'll see basically this consists of you know, and you've seen this on all self-propelled mowers. They've got a transmission. Well, here's the one in the back, and they also have one in the front. And the belt, pretty long belt, runs between the two of them, so you get all-wheel drive that way. And it routes around these idler pulleys here. And when you engage the cable, here's the engagement cable hanging here, which connects onto this transmission. It pulls the belt tight, and you know, everything starts moving. So I want to show you a couple of pointers that I've discovered as I've been working along here, and then we'll see if we can route this belt together and get it in place. I wanted to mention also that I'd taken off all 4 of the wheels because I wanted to see the condition inside there. Washer drops down there, and basically it's a plastic wheel, but they've got a metal sprocket fastened in there, and that seems to be in good condition. I don't see it worn. That sprocket engages with this gear, which if you look closely has a little bit of wear, but I don't think it's much, and I don't think it's any problem. So I felt like I examined all 4 of the wheels. I think everything is in good shape at the individual wheels. So I think we're good to go there. So after you remove this rear baffle, you then can pivot this transmission, and you're going to disconnect this engagement cable, and you're also going to disconnect this this spring. This is the spring that pulls it back into neutral, we'll say, when you release the engagement cable, when you release the handle up at the controls. It slackens the engagement cable, and this pulls the transmission down so that the belt is no longer tight. So this is an important little spring. You don't want to lose him. And one of the things, and then it'll pivot all the way down like this, and you can take off this pulley, which you must do because the belt's wrapped around it, and you can't get that belt off unless you remove this pulley. And I removed that with my impact, but what you have to do is immobilize the shaft of this transmission here. I used a pair of like needle nose type, what do you call these, vice grips. And then once I did that, I was able to easily take this down. So as we now move into the installation of the new belt, we're going to start right here. I'm going to get the new belt, we're going to put it around this pulley, and then we're going to zip this pulley back into place. Alright, so put the belt around the pulley, just loosely. Now we can start spinning the pulley back onto the shaft. I'll use the impact to tighten it down, and holding onto the shaft with the vice grips. So I'm not too worried about cranking it down a lot. That's going to be it. All right, so now we can pivot this back up, and I'm going to want to connect the, well, what I'll do, I'll show you this spring. Where'd I put that guy? The spring connects into this hole on the transmission, and then when we get this baffle up into place, it also slides right through that hole right there. So for now, I'm just going to hang it there, and then we're going to try to insert the engagement cable like that. And on my particular model, the engagement cable runs outside of the pulley. Depending on what model you have, it might run inside. This cable may go on this side of the belt. Here it's on the outside of the belt. I remember that very specifically from when we took it apart. And so this is our return spring. So now, with that belt up, I could put this baffle back in, but I think what I want to do is slide over here to the middle. We'll get our pulleys here. You can't see what I'm doing. We're going to get our pulleys on and our blade adapter, route the belt. The belt then goes through here and around the front pulley, which is actually there above the deck. All right, so I'm going to push a belt through there, and it's easy enough to wrap around the pulley up there, but it's not going to stay in yet. There's no keepers up there right yet. Just a suggestion, you might not be able to see this, but before I took it apart, I snapped a photo with my camera of how the belts were routed, just to make my life a little easier. You know, it's not that complicated, but I just thought that might be helpful. So I got my three pulleys, and you're going to start them without tightening them, because you can't really route the belt if the pulleys are tight up in place. But I think see, there's a keeper back here, and I won't be able to get the, there we go, be able to get the belt up if I have the pulley up there too tight. But this actually, the belt goes above this keeper and above this one. All right. Then the next belt is going to be like this. And I don't know, maybe I should have put the belt, the blade adapter in first. I don't know. But we'll play around with it until we get it. Again, that's just started, it's not tight. I'm going to kind of go like this. Alright, so that's in there, and now let's get the new blade adapter in there. I'm just going to temporarily hold it up in place with the crank bolt. The crankshaft has a slot, so we need to line that up. So let's just temporarily put this bolt in to keep the blade adapter from sliding down on us. I got really lucky when I realized I had to replace that old blade adapter because those tabs had broken off. Fortunately, this guy was not rusted or frozen onto the crankshaft. It just slid right off, which is fabulous. All right, so I think I've got it routed correctly under here. So now we can tighten these down. And so that's routed and done. So now let's go just peek here at the top. And I don't, all right. So there's a little, I'll have to force it into that. There's a keeper that sticks up from the transmission. And I'm gonna have to force it there. All right, there, so it's good. So it's around the pulley. Now we want to put some, and I've got my engagement cable attached, so I can use the control up here to tighten it, and I'm probably going to put this clamp on it, so that will keep the belt fully tensioned, and that makes it a lot easier for getting all the rest of the parts and pieces together. Okay, so now I can slide in this rear, I don't even know what you call this stuff, this rear plastic piece. It's held on with 4 screws, one up here, same on the other side, and then 2 that you can get by lifting up this chute lid. And remember, that spring has to clip in right into here. Probably can't see it, but right onto here. So I'm going to get it in place and then grab needle nose pliers or something and pull that spring down and clip it right into there. A little hard to show you, but that's the idea. Shouldn't be that hard. All right, so I connected my spring, and now I'm going to release the engagement cable, and this should relax, and the belt should slacken. All right, so you can see it's pivot down. That spring pulled it down, and our belt underneath here has slackened. So the drive will, it'll stop pulling. And we'll try it again. Engage. Okay, so you can see the engagement cable pulls up on the transmission, the belt tightens and it engages, release, and it drops down because of that spring, belt slackens. So that's how it works. So now it's just a matter of putting the rest of these pieces together, the plastic pieces, and then finally at the end to install the blade. Well, it's all put back together. All I have to do is, it was a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, but I enjoyed it. It all worked out. So all I have to do is install this new blade. And I'm going to do that now. And we'll be able to test this guy out. And pay attention to which way you put on the blade. Compare it to the old one. Sometimes the blades will say grass side, so that obviously will be facing down. I'll start with this little impact. Good measure. Oh. I'll bump it up to this bigger guy. All right, let's test it out. All right, that's it for our work on the Husqvarna all-wheel drive. Did a couple of videos getting this up and running, and I think it's ready to be returned to its rightful owner as lawn mowing season is just around the corner. So I hope that was helpful to you, even though it wasn't a step-by-step complete demonstration. Hopefully I gave a few pointers if you're doing a job like this yourself. I want to thank you for watching. Your comments and questions, some of the things I may have discussed, your opinions are always welcome in the discussion below. I'll always look forward to seeing you on our next video, and remember, as I like to say, only you can put the do into do-it-yourself. See you next time.